Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you guys are having a good one. We're gonna jump right into things today. I've got a old riding mower that needs some love and some TLC. It was getting ready to go to the scrap yard, so let's see if we can save it. All right, so this is what we got. I believe this is a 1995 Craftsman with the 15.5 horsepower single cylinder overhead valve. It's a 42-inch cut, 6-speed. It's got the it's the Briggs, and it has the turbo cool on it. I've looked over the machine so far. Spins over by hand freely, has compression. I've kind of just moved the gear selector through the gears, and it feels like it's going into gear just fine. Mower deck is free, so it looks like, I think these two tires are holding air, but I believe these two on this side are not. So first things first on here, we're gonna try to hook up a jumper pack to it and dribble some fuel probably down into the intake, because the battery on this is from 2012, from 9/2012, and I know this thing hasn't run in at least a few years. So I'm already warming up the ultrasonic cleaner, because I'm assuming if this does start that that carb is going to be pretty gross. So let me get this thing set up, and we'll see if it'll at least turn over. All right, I got the jumper pack hooked up here, and I went ahead and took off the air filter. So let's just first see if this is even going to turn over. And we've got nothing here. Make sure. Let's check the brake here. Got the parking brake set, but sometimes the button will get a little stuck. All right, sweet. Let me see if it's just stuck. All right, so the parking brake switch is just a little sticky. All right, well, I got this sweet bottle from Roger McDonald, so I get to test this out finally. So we're gonna put a little 2-stroke mix down in here so we can lube up the cylinder and get this thing hopefully started if it has spark. So let's give it a try. Got some fuel in there. Open up the throttle just a little bit. Nope, I guess the button's not working again. All right. All right. Sounded pretty good. Oh, you know what? I did forget to check the oil on it. Let me check the oil on this real quick. That was my fault. I should have checked the oil. I did just pull it out though. I had to go get a rag. And I'll show you guys. It actually looks like it has like a fresh oil change in it. It's right at the add line, but the oil looks really clean in here. And it was still thick, so I know it's not, didn't smell like fuel or anything. So let's go ahead and try to start it again, and I'll try to just pump a little gas down in there and see if we can just kind of bottle feed it for a second, just to see if we hear anything crazy going on with the engine. So we'll put a little bit in there. I think I'm gonna have to set you guys down for this. Well, sweet. Motor sounds pretty good on here. I guess the next step is I'm gonna just get the carb off. We'll try to get that disassembled in an ultrasonic cleaner, and then we'll move forward on to what's next. Probably be sliming the tires and getting to the mower deck. And if you guys haven't seen some of my other videos, to get this carburetor off, it's just going to be these two nuts, and then you've got to get the studs out both sides, disconnect the fuel line, disconnect the anti-backfire valve, and on this particular one it has like a mounting bracket right here on the side that needs to be taken loose, and then the whole carburetor assembly will slide off, and then you just disconnect it from the throttle linkage and the choke, and then it'll come right off. All right, well, I got this thing off. This is never had a carburetor come off that hard. I actually had to take a rubber mallet to break the seal. But yeah, it's got some rusty crusties inside here, and this carburetor is certainly gonna need a cleaning. So yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get that jet out because it is really gummy in there. So I'm just gonna disassemble this the best I can. I'm gonna try to take this back seal off and get it an ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll go from there. But you guys can see the outside condition of this thing. It is crusty, so we'll get this cleaned up. All right, well, I made my way back out here. I am gonna go ahead and slime those two tires on the other side. Hopefully this trans axle is gonna be good in here, but if it's not, I have a 6-speed over on the Parts LT1000 over there in the corner. I'm doing a little backyard style. I got a mess out here today, and but the weather's nice, and I wanted to enjoy it out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the valve cores out with my little tool. I'm gonna pump these up with some slime, and hopefully by that time the carburetor will be done in the ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll get that back together and on the machine. All right, well, the carburetor is out of the bath and still has some pitting and stuff like that on the outside, but I went through and cleaned the inside the best I could. I went through all of the ports. I could not get the emulsion tube out. I did try. I was able to get this jet out, and also this jet out here at the top, and seems like it cleaned up pretty good. All the small parts I put in this little strainer here in the ultrasonic cleaner, thanks to Mr. John Clem. I really appreciate that. And I also took a wire brush and went on the inside of the bowl and got all that cleaned out. So I think we should be in pretty good shape. And I also cleaned out and tried to polish where the needle goes into the seat. So hopefully we'll have a good seal there. I am going to add some new fuel line, a shutoff valve, and just a little inline filter. So let me get the carburetor back together and we'll get this back on the machine. All right, so here's the setup I got on here. I gotta get the clamps all in place, but I just put in the fuel shutoff valve and then a small piece, and then the filter. I put the shutoff valve before the filter just in case in the future. If you need to change out the filter, you can just turn off the fuel and change it out. You don't have to worry about any of that. And then just another small piece going right up to the carburetor. Got the carburetor all mounted up here. Everything's moving freely, and we should be pretty good. I am gonna hook up the battery. I'll probably turn the key on accessory to see if I can hear the anti-backfire valve click, make sure that that's working. We'll top off some fuel in the tank and see if we can get this thing to fire up. All right, got the battery pack hooked up. See if you guys can hear this. So our fuel shutoff valve, or anti-backfire, is working. Go ahead and open up the fuel. I put a little bit in the tank. Make sure that none of it's gonna start flooding out of here. Make sure our needle and seat's working. Give this a minute. I guess we gotta turn off the anti-backfire just to double check. And I think we should be pretty good there. Let me get you guys set up and we'll try to crank this up. Alright, no leaks so far, it looks like. Let's give it a shot. Turn the choke on. I turned the choke off a little too early. I can try to adjust the air fuel a little bit here. I don't want to mess with it a lot though. I'll give it a quarter turn and see if that helps. Alright guys, I think that was it. I guess I probably moved this air fuel screw out maybe a turn, but I don't know if you guys saw it. I was just bumping it through different positions on the throttle that last time after the adjustment, and that seems like it's got that taken care of. So yeah, I think this carb's gonna be good. I do have to I'll probably have to increase the idle just a little bit because I added a little bit more fuel and it sounded like the idle was just a little bit low, but the motor sounds really good and it's pretty quiet, surprisingly, as far as the muffler and everything. So I guess the next thing is let's test out the transaxle, make sure the transmission's gonna work, and if it does, then we'll go ahead and take the mower deck off. So I'll take you guys along for the ride, see if this transaxle is gonna work. Just leaving the filter and everything off for now. I'll get everything buttoned up here in a little bit. So let's see if it'll just crank up now at idle. First gear. There's second, third, fourth. Might have skipped a gear. That should be 6 right there. Got reverse, everything nice, sounds nice and quiet. First gear, second, third, fourth, fifth. Yep, it's got all 6 speeds. This motor is really quiet on here. so far, guys. We got a motor up and running, sounds super quiet. All 6 speeds work, reverse works. I want to get the deck off from here so I can take a look at the pulleys and make sure everything's going to engage fine. So I'll get this parked and shut down and we'll start taking this deck off. Alright, well I pulled it over a little bit different spot so I can have better access to the mower deck on here, but looks like this one's pretty much kind of like the LT 1000s. There's let's see, you got the 1 pin, I believe it's just the 1 pin on both sides right there, and then you just have the cross member support taking the pin out here, and there's one on the linkage that engages the tension on the deck, and then you just have the 2 for the front supports on the that come off the front on those 2 rods. So we should just have 2, 4, 5, I think 6 cotter pins, and then just take the belt loose off the engine pulley, and we'll slide this thing out. Alright, well, I got the 3 cotter pins out from this side, like I said, and then I had, well, should be 3 cotter pins. I had 2 cotter pins and a nail, and then there was one other linkage that I was unaware of. I'll show you guys. Hopefully I can pull this thing out now. I think I'm just a little caught here. So there was this linkage on this one that went up onto the mower, and that was the other one that was holding it on. So got that cotter pin, and that was pretty much it. So now let me get this cleaned off, and then we can take a look over it and see how the condition looks on all the pulleys and the tensioners. Alright, well, the old BG50 did a little work on here getting all that stuff off. It was packed. I mean, it was basically like 2 or 3 inches worth of material that was packed on here, and unfortunately it was sitting there kind of damp for a long time. The deck itself is still solid. It just started kind of eating away at the top layer of the paint, but surprisingly this deck is in really good shape, it looks like, for the age of this machine. The only thing I saw was around the I can get you guys out of the sun here, just around on the chute area there's a little bit of damage, which I don't really think that's gonna need repair. I'll probably just try to get that back into shape. The deflector shield, or the chute, pretty much covers all that up anyway, so there's no safety issue with that. I did go ahead and check with the brakes released, and I put some slack in the belt. I checked both sides, and the spindles feel nice and smooth on it, and so this is pretty much the way that the brakes are gonna work on here. Once that gets pushed back, that releases the tension on the brakes, and both brakes are still there. That noise you're hearing is actually on the belt, but they're nice and free. This idler was really smooth. This idler was making a little bit of noise with the belt off, but overall I think all of the pulleys are in fair enough shape. The only thing that I want to do is really grease all of the areas that would make contact with the brake, and where this plate here rides across, because that's gonna help a lot with the smoothness of the engagement of the PTO handle. And once we get all that greased, I'll show you guys the action on it, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape to just get the deck back on here and test it out. All right, So I've got everything greased up here. There's like a little cam lobe, or just a little round piece on the bottom of both of the brakes, and that's what this plate right here bumps against to engage or disengage the brake, the blade brakes. And on the plate here, I just went ahead and greased up where that one rides and where the other one rides across, and also up here where this top plate meets with the bottom plate. So now everything is moving nice and free. Kind of hard to do one-handed, but that would be in the engaged position, and then disengaged. It's like that. So basically everything that needed to be greased up is good to go. So we'll get the deck mounted back up, and hopefully we can test out the mower deck and make sure it's all good. All right, guys, well, it's been a couple hours. I had a few things to do, but I did get the mower deck on. And I did want to show you, I didn't mention earlier that the blades on here, they're actually in really good shape. They got a good edge. They almost look brand new. So we've got the deck back on. The deck belt is installed. Carburetor is back on, and so we'll give it a shot here and see what we can do. See if the blades will engage, and see if this deck is going to be smooth or not. Right, awesome. Well, we got the carb cleaned out, got the deck checked over. Honestly, this hasn't been a whole lot going on with this machine. I mean, it's a mess a little bit as far as dirt cosmetically, but overall I think the condition is in good shape. Transmission's working. May have to do a little tuning on the carburetor. It sounded like it had kind of a little bit of a lean pop to it when engaging that deck. I was just kind of engaging it slow just to make sure that it was going to engage properly, and I didn't hear anything crazy going on with the belt. But overall, looks to be in pretty good shape. So I think at this point I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the machine washed up. We'll get under the hood. I gotta finish getting the air box and everything back on here, and I think after that it's just going to be a matter of kind of just getting it cleaned up. We'll top off the oil and just see if there's any other little small miscellaneous things that need to be done, and I think this tractor is going to be ready to go. So let me get this washed up, and I'll show it to you guys when I get done. All right, guys. Well, I got this thing washed up and did a little bit more work to it. I'll show you guys everything, but I think we pretty much got this finished up. Overall, came out pretty good. I did some polishing on it and put some paint on the mower deck. I added on the rear back plate here. I took off a parts mower because this one didn't have one originally, and just went ahead and just cleaned everything up the best that I could. I've got some vinyl cleaner on the seat, so that feels a lot better. And let's see what else. Motor cleaned up real nice on here. You guys can see that. Everything under the hood here is very clean. Show you guys the other side. Kind of just touched up everything. Took off the headlight lens, cleaned in there, cleaned up the bulbs real good, and the tires have been holding air, and everything seems to be good. So a couple little small things I'm gonna fix on it after this video is done, but overall I think we got it finished up. Not bad for a 27-year-old mower. Still has some rust spots and stuff like that, but it's to be expected with the age. But I think overall turned out to be a great machine, and everything works on it. So I hope you guys like the content. I had fun making this video, as I do with any of them, but I know you guys like the lawn tractor videos, and I was excited that this came along so well. It was in pretty good shape. It just needed some TLC, some love, and some time put into it, and we got a good running mower for somebody. So once again, thank you guys as always for checking it out, and on that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you guys in the next video.